Hello everyone and welcome to another English lesson with me, Anna English, here on English Like a Native. I am doing a dual stream. I'm with Facebook and I'm with you on YouTube. A big hello to my patrons who are joining me in the patron Skype room. So hello patrons. And just before I kick straight into the phrasal verbs, one of my patrons, Alexander, has said, Anna, in your notification letter, which I sent out to all my patrons, you've used the phrase break the mold. What is the meaning of break the mold? When and when do you use it? I think you're trying to say there. And when do you use it? So to break the mold means to do something different. So a mold, normally I think of a rubber mold. A mold is something you would pour liquid plaster into. And then the plaster goes hard and sets. For example, when you're making a cup, if you're making lots of cups, there will be a mold and the material will be wet. You'll pour it into the mold. It will then set and go hard. And so it creates something firm. You usually then also heat treat it. So you put it in some form of oven to make it really hard, dry it out. And so that's a mold that shapes things into the same way. If I say the phrase break the mold, I mean I'm going to do something different. So if I normally go live at 4 o'clock and I normally do the same lesson, the same type of lesson, if I suddenly do something different and at a different time, I am breaking the mold. Breaking the mold. Okay? So, hello, Ella has also joined me in the patron Skype room. Lovely to see you too. So, as you know, I'm always doing 10 phrasal verbs here. I seem to have lost my notes though, so let me just find my notes again for you. Pages, phrasal verbs. Yes, please. I would like that one. So we're going to do 10 phrasal verbs. If you remember last time, we got up to 70. So we've done 70 phrasal verbs up to now. If you haven't previously seen any of these phrasal verb lessons and you have missed out on 70 previous phrasal verbs, not all of them strictly phrasal verbs. Some of them are more just common phrases, but they're all very useful because you may have realised us English speak in phrasal verbs and idioms most of the time, so it can be quite hard to understand what we mean if you don't know them. So, shall we get started? I think so. Right, so the very first one, you'll be able to see this now on YouTube. If you can't see it on Facebook, that's because you're not on YouTube. Then you need to head over to YouTube, to English Like a Native, to see these notes. And the first one is to be out. If you are out, it means you are absent from a place, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're outdoors. So if you're coming to see someone at my house and I say, no, he is out at the moment, I don't mean he's outside, I just mean he's not here in this place right now. Now, as this is a writing practice lesson, what I want you to do as we're going through these is I want you to write a sentence using these phrases. So I want you to write a sentence using to be out. I'll show you my example sentence. Sharon was out all day yesterday and is out all day. That should be today. All day today. She will be out all day tomorrow. If we're going to add that in. She will also be out all day tomorrow. This behaviour is not on. Sharon was out all day yesterday and she is out all day today. She will also be out. So I should make that in capitals. She will also be out all day tomorrow. This behaviour is not on. You might remember this, we covered this before. If something is not on, then it means it's not acceptable. Do you remember? I think we covered this last week. It's not on. It's not acceptable. So her behavior is not on because she was out all day yesterday, she is out all day today, and she will be out all day tomorrow. So this is not on, it's not acceptable. She needs to be here working hard. Okay, so I want you to try and use this in an example sentence for me. Patrons, if you do it in the patron Skype room, and then I can correct you and everyone can see it. If you're on Facebook and you want to take part, then you'll have to come over to YouTube and put your answers into the chat room here on YouTube. Okay, so while you're writing down your example sentences, I will carry on to the next one. So the next one is to be out of. To be out of. If you're out of something, it means you have none left. And we're talking about something specific. I am out of tea. I am out of biscuits. I am out of clean jumpers. Oh, talking about jumpers. Do you like my new jumper? Oh, Facebook, you might not be able to see it here, but it says, c'est bon. C'est bon. Which means it's good. Yay. French. So do you have anyone who speaks French here? Bonjour, ça va? And this is especially for you. So if you're French speaking, this is for you. Oh, amazing. Wonderful. So I've just had a super chat dropped over by Ramitid. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. I'm not sure what currency that is, but it looks like quite a generous donation. So thank you. That's very, very kind. And you've said, hi, Anna, good day. Well, good day to you too. And just to let you know, for those of you who do drop super chats on YouTube, you will receive a copy of all of these phrasal verbs, this whole list, or a copy of any of the notes from previous lessons. All you have to do is drop me an email and let me know that it was you who dropped me a super chat, and I'll give you these notes as a way of saying thank you. All super chat donations go towards helping this channel to thrive and survive. It's very difficult providing free education, so all donations from super chats and from my patrons are very much appreciated and very, very helpful in order to help this community. So thank you. Okay, so we have some example sentences coming through. Patricia, let's have a look at what you're saying here. You said, I'll be out and about on Friday. I'll be out and about on Friday. Yes, I'll be out. So it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be outside. It just means you'll be out. You'll be not in the house. So that's very good. Well done. Just make sure you use a full stop at the end of your sentences. Always a full stop at the end. So Stella has written this sentence. Let's have a look at correcting this one. And then we'll move on. So this is what Stella wrote. When I arrived her house, she'd already been out of her house. Okay, so let's correct this. First of all, we need a capital letter. When I arrived, and then we need a preposition. You arrived where? I arrived at her house. It doesn't matter where you're going to be, you need to use at. When I arrived at the supermarket, when I arrived at work, when I arrived at home. In fact, actually, when I say home, you don't need to use at. When I arrived home. But when we're using specific places, then we need to use at. In most cases, we use at. When I arrived at her house, she had already been out of her house. Now, this isn't correct here. She was already, and we get rid of this. So we don't need has been, or yeah, I think you were using has been. She was already out. And because you're already talking about her house, we know you've arrived at her house. We don't need this last section either. We don't need to repeat where we are. So the sentence should read, when I arrived at her house, she was already out. Okay? Good. Wonderful. For those of you who are chatting away, leaving messages on Facebook, I can catch up with the messages later when I finish the broadcast, but I can't answer them now because it's on my phone and it's all too small. So if you want to come and talk to me on YouTube. The link is in the description of this video on Facebook. All right, so let's move on. So we have to be out of. Like I said, it means that you're out of something. You have none of that thing left. So the example sentence I've given to say I am out of something is about tea. And I've said, I would offer you a cup of tea, but I'm afraid we are out of tea bags. That means I have no tea bags left. We used to have some, but I don't have any now. So I would offer you a cup of tea. I'm terribly sorry. We are out of tea bags. Now, this has come up a few times recently. I have done a video about this before, but some of you may not remember that I'm afraid generally means I'm sorry. We use the words I'm afraid quite often in sentences, and it means I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I can't come. I'm afraid I can't offer you some tea. My father isn't at home at the moment, I'm afraid. It doesn't mean I'm scared, it means I'm sorry. So just try to remember that one, because we do use I'm afraid in that context all the time. So I would offer you a cup of tea, but I'm afraid we are out of tea bags. So I want you to try and write a sentence for me now using to be out of. Let's have a look. I am out of bread and I have to go shopping, says Gossia Eagle. I am out of bread and I have to go shopping. Very good. Perfectly structured. Capital letters and full stop is there. So I'm very happy with that one. Well done. Anna says, good name by the way. Anna says, we were out of ideas about our party theme. Yeah, that's good. That works. We were out of ideas about our party theme. Although I wouldn't use about, I would use for. We were out of ideas for our party theme rather than about. It works a little nicer. Stella says, you've lost weight. Definitely haven't. I put weight on. But maybe it's the stripes. Maybe it's the stripes that make me look slimmer. Perhaps. Dr. Samir says, I'm out of electricity. I'm using my mobile in fade light. In dim light. Rather than fade light. If you're going to say fade with light, you need to say faded light. In faded light. Because fade, yeah, it just doesn't work. I'm using my mobile in dim light. Okay? And make sure you put a full stop on the end. All right, let's move on. So you understood to be out, to be away from the place, and to be out of means to have no more left. So be out to, quite similar but very different meaning. To be out to. So if you're out to do something, it means you are aiming to do something or to get something. So you have a mission. So here it is written down, to be out to be aiming to do something or to get something. He feels like everyone is out to get him because of what he said about workers' privileges. He feels like everyone is out to get him. Now this phrase, out to get you or out to get someone, it kind of has a negative connotation. It means people are trying to do something bad to you. It could be a very physical thing. If someone's out to get you, it might be that they're trying to beat you up or to hurt you in some way. Or they might be trying to damage your career. Yeah. You could say if there was another YouTuber who did similar lessons to me and they were jealous of the lessons I was doing, and then they tried very hard to make sure that they damaged the potential of my channel perhaps, or maybe they say bad things about me or try to turn people's opinions against me, you could say that person is out to get me. That person is out to get me. They're trying to damage things or make my life worse. They're out to get me. Okay? So to be out to get someone. But you could be out to get something positive. It doesn't always have to be negative. You could say Anna was out to get she was out to get as many subscribers as she possibly could, so that as many people who need to learn English had access to a free resource for learning. So that's a positive thing. So I want you to try and write a sentence using be out to. Be out to. Okay, and the example sentence one more time, just in case you didn't catch it, is he feels like everyone is out to get him because of what he said about workers' privileges. Let's imagine that sentence is about a politician who said something about workers' privileges that people didn't take too kindly to. Okay? All right, let's have a look what you're saying. So Ella says, I'm afraid, which means I'm sorry. Very good. I'm afraid they didn't have the tomatoes you wanted at the grocery store. Very nice. Make sure you put a space between grocery and store, two separate words. And I'm not sure, but also make sure that there's no space, there's no gaps between I apostrophe and M. I'm should all be squished together. And then Alexander said, I don't think she was out to cause trouble. So she wasn't aiming to cause trouble. Very good. I don't think she was out to cause trouble. She just didn't think. Perfect. Really nice, Alexander. I like that. Well done. You got a heart from me. Well done. Trump thinks the media are out to get him. Very good. Yes, that's true. That is very true. Okay, so let's have a look what you're saying on YouTube. I'm out to move myself to London. I'm out to move myself to London. Technically that sentence works, I guess, if we're thinking about the phrasal verb out to. I'm out to. But in that sense, I wouldn't use it. I would say I intend to, would make it clearer. I intend to. Okay. What else we got? My co-worker talks bad things about me behind my back and is out to get me. Okay, let's have a quick look at this one. So you've written, who was this? It was Tomek. Tomek said, my co-worker talks bad things about me behind my back and is out to get me. So my co-worker says, my co-worker says bad things about me behind my back. So you can't say he talks bad things. He says bad things. So talk is general. I generally am talking, but when you say she said, he said, then it has to be something more specific. What did she say? She said bad things. So Anna talks in general. Talking just talks about the words coming out of my mouth, blah, 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 blah. I'm talking. But I said something specific. So my co-worker says bad things about me behind my back and is out to get me. Okay, that's fine. So once you've made that correction, that sentence works. So well done, Tomek. You also get a thumb up from me. If you are here and you're finding this useful, then do me a favor right now, without even thinking about it. I want you to make sure you give it a thumb or some love on Facebook. Thank you. And if you think anyone else would find this useful, then do me a huge favor and just press the share button and share it with your timeline so that other people can benefit as well from my time and some of my knowledge. Okay, could you please repeat your words more than one time? I will try, although these lessons tend to be quite long. I don't want to make them too long. So, my next door neighbour is out to organising all of us to grow, I'm not sure what that word is, a green garden in the neighbourhood. Just be careful with your spelling. And I'm not quite sure what that word is, Vivana. So I'm sorry I can't help you with that one because I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say. All right, so let's move on to the next one. It's one that I relate to quite a lot, and it is to be snowed under. To be snowed under. I am snowed under. You are snowed under. We were snowed under last week. And it doesn't mean that the snow has fallen from the sky and now we're under a layer of snow, it means we have too much to do. We have too much. Normally we talk about work when we say we're snowed under, but it might be that you just have a lot of responsibilities in life. Maybe you're a parent and you have lots of responsibilities in the community. And so maybe you are snowed under with things that you have to do. So to be snowed under. I am snowed under. Okay, so the example sentence I've given here is, Anna can't reply to you right now as she is completely snowed under at work. Anna can't reply to you right now as she is, and here as means because, as she is completely snowed under at work. So I could quite easily say, Anna can't reply to you right now because she is completely snowed under at work. But instead I've used as. I think it sounds a little bit more sophisticated. Anna can't reply to you right now as she is completely snowed under at work. So I would like you to try and write a sentence using snowed under. Is it like being buried in something, says Abdurrahman. Yes, it's like you're buried in work. You're buried with things to do. And on that note, I will say that so many of you send me lovely messages on Instagram, on Facebook, and here on YouTube. Lots of you make comments on my videos and leave me private messages and public messages. I do try my hardest to read as many of them as I can. But honestly, I am snowed under with the amount of work I have to do and with the amount of comments that I get, it is wonderful, and I do try to read them all, but I can't respond to them all. I try and respond to a few, but it really is impossible for me to respond. So if you have ever messaged or left a comment, or maybe you've left lots of comments or sent lots of messages, and if I've not responded to you, then please don't take it personally. If I've read your message but I haven't responded, I'm not being rude. I just don't have the time to respond to the amount of messages that I get. And if you send me messages on Instagram, I probably haven't read it because there's hundreds of messages on there. I just can't read them. So apologies for that. Please don't take it personally. Right, so Ella, what are you saying? You said, wouldn't you say the media is out to catch him instead of the media are. I guess it could go both ways because the media can be considered as one body, the media in general, or you can think of the media as individual media representatives or individual photographers or reporters. So I guess like the word fish can mean a single fish or multiple fish. I think with media it can be one or it can be many. Okay, so Alexander says, to be snowed under, says, I received a phone call from a friend asking if I could go for lunch, but I replied, I'd love to, but I'm snowed under here. Really good, Alexander. I would question whether you needed a comma in there, actually, because it doesn't, you don't need to break up the sentence. I'd love to, but I'm snowed under here. Okay? Okay, let's head back to the YouTube chat room, and I've got Marcelo has said, I can help you. I can help you. I am snowed under right now. I think that should be I can't with a T. I can't help you. I am snowed under right now. Very good. Dr. Samir says, I am too snowed under taking classes every day. Now, the nature of the phrase snowed under means you've got too much work. So you don't need to use the additional word too. You don't need to use that. I am too snowed under. You don't need it. It's superfluous. Superfluous means it's not necessary. It's superfluous. So I am snowed under taking classes every day. Okay, that would be perfectly fine. And make sure you use a full stop, Dr. Samir. Okay, after my children were born, I always feel being snowed under with housework, nursery and studies. Okay, Amanda, let's just make a few adjustments to your sentence. So let's have a look, everyone. So Amanda has written, after my children were born, I always feel, now we're talking in the past, so after my children they were born, I always felt being snowed under. I always felt, you can actually lose that altogether. I always felt snowed under with housework, and that would actually work. But if we're using it with the verb to be, I always felt like I was snowed under is how you would put it. But you could just easily say, I always felt snowed under. I always felt like I was snowed under with housework, nursery, and studies. Okay, and that would make it better. Oh, tenses are so frustrating, aren't they? So difficult. Okay, let's move on. So this one, we have 247 people watching here on YouTube. That's lovely. Hello. If you're new, then please subscribe and come and join us again and look at some of the other videos that we posted here. That would be lovely. And if you're not a subscriber and you're watching on Facebook, because I have about 50 of you on Facebook, then come over to YouTube. Come and join the fun. There's over 300 free video lessons available for you. And many more to come. Okay, so the next one we have here on the list is to be taken back. To be taken back. Now, in this sense, to be taken back means to be shocked or surprised. I was taken back. It's almost like the shock of what you did or what you said made me go back. What? I was taken back by what I heard. I was taken back by what you said. I was taken back by what I saw. So something invisible has pulled me back. Shock. Okay, so I was taken back. The example sentence I've given here is, I was taken back when I heard that she was planning to file for divorce. So if you go to a solicitor and you say, I want a divorce, and you put in the paperwork to start the divorce proceedings. I mean, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but I'm certain that the phrase is to file for divorce. You put in a file for divorce. So I was taken back when I heard that she was planning to file for divorce. So I was shocked. So I would like you now to try and use to be taken back as an example. Oh my goodness, Ramatid, I'm not quite sure how I pronounce your name, but you've just dropped another super chat. That's 2 from you today. That's so kind of you. And you've said thank you very much for your lessons. No, thank you for your generosity. That honestly is so sweet of you. Yes, thank you. Honestly, any notes that you would like from any previous lessons, just drop me an email and I would happily send them over to you as my way of saying thank you for your generous donation. It's very, very kind. If any of you would also like to donate in some way, but you can't maybe afford to do a super chat or you can't afford to be a patron, then you can still help by representing your language on my videos. Now, lots of you already do translate my videos for me, which is amazing. And if you have already translated one or many of my videos into your language, thank you so much. You're helping me, of course, but what you're really doing is helping more people from your country to learn English and to open up a world of opportunities. So thank you. And there are lots of videos here that need your language. So if you have a little time and you feel like you're quite advanced in English, then it would be a great help if you can click on any video on YouTube. Go to more and there's an option to translate, or if you're on YouTube, just go into the description box below and there's a link to translate or to contribute translations, and hopefully that will direct you to the right place. Okay, so let's have a look. So to be taken aback, what are you guys coming up with? Okay, so let's have a look. Alexander, I was taken back when I heard that Ivan was going out dating with Sonia. Yes, so to go out with someone, if I say I'm going out with, I don't know, Wayne Rooney, I'm going out with Wayne Rooney, a famous English football player. In some cases, it means I'm actually dating that person. Hey, I'm going out with Wayne Rooney. It could mean I'm going out on a night out, but it could mean I'm dating them. So it depends how you deliver that sentence. So you said, I was taken aback when I heard that Ivan was going out with Sonia. Very good. Really nice. Ella, you said, I was taken back when I realized that Trump will be president of the United States for real. I would change this slightly. I was taken back when I realized that Trump would be. When I realized that Trump would be, and I would use the president. I was taken back when I realized that Trump would be the president of the United States for real. Okay, very good. And just working back a little here, Patricia says, I've been snowed under since my cats got sick. Oh dear. And that's a good sentence, but I hope your cats feel better soon, Patricia. All the love to your cats. Let's give a bit of love to your cats. I miss my cats so much. And Alexander said, all the roads are snowed under in Ukraine right now. We'd say in the Ukraine, I think. All the roads are snowed under in the Ukraine right now. I think so. Feels right to me, but it might not be right. But snowed under, you're talking like very specifically about physical snow, rather than the phrase to mean you're under a lot of work. But otherwise, it's good. Okay, let's move on to the YouTube chat room. You guys trying to use this sentence. Camille says, I was taken back when I came to the car park to find my car was gone. I was taken back when I came to the car park to find my car was gone. Shock, horror. Very good. And I hope that's not true. Marco, I was taken back when I heard your English lesson. Okay, so normally when you're taken back, it's because you're shocked, and shocked in a negative way, not in a positive way. Look at that sky behind me. Doesn't that look dramatic? That looks like a horror film, doesn't it? I was taken aback when I noticed the colour of the sky behind me. Goodness me. I cannot wait until the spring finally arrives. This kind of weather really gets me down. Okay, so you said, I was taken aback when I heard your English lesson. Let's have a quick look at this. Capital I. When you're talking about yourself, I've mentioned this a few times, always use a capital. It doesn't matter where in the sentence it appears. It will always be a capital. I was taken back when I heard your English lesson. And then a full stop at the end. Okay? But like I said, normally taken back means you were shocked in a negative way, like I just was when I saw the sky behind me. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. You're being very patient. We've been here for half an hour. Let's try not to keep you for too long. So, to be taken with. To be taken with. If you're taken with something, it means that you are attracted to it, or to a person, you're attracted to them. I was very taken with it. All right, and so the example I've given here is, it seems, let me get it up for you. It seems that Kira is very taken with your son. It seems that Kira is very taken with your son. Kira is a female name. Kira. It seems that Kira is very taken with your son. It means that Kira likes your son very much. She's attracted to your son. Okay, so now it's your turn. I want you to try to use taken with in the sentence so that I can try and correct it for you. And just while you're doing that, I'll do some more corrections. I'm sorry I can't read your name because it's written in characters I don't understand. But you've said, I was taken back when I heard bad news of Baghdad explosion. Yes, I heard about that on the news, and if you have been involved with that, or you know someone who's been involved in that, then my best wishes go out to you. My thoughts are with you, definitely, because any atrocities like this that happen wherever it is in the world, it's absolutely terrible. And when innocent people are dying, it's really, really dreadful. So my thoughts and my prayers go out to Baghdad and anyone who was involved with that. And yes, that sentence is very apt. I was taken aback when I heard about, or when I heard the bad news. Let's use that. When I heard the bad news when I heard the bad news. When I heard the bad news about, I would use about probably, about the Baghdad explosion. I was taken back when I heard the bad news about the Baghdad explosion. Yes, very good. Obviously not good, but the sentence is very apt. Okay, so Patricia, Anna, can I say I was taken back by the film It? Yes, you can. So the film It was a horror film. It's recently been remade, hasn't it? I remember the original. It terrified me as a child. I had many a sleepless night, believing in ghosts and ghouls and feeling very frightened as a child because of this film. And so you can say, I was taken back by the film It. So you were shocked by it. Very good. Alexander, small kids are usually quite taken with their Christmas presents. Yes, that's right. They are attracted to their Christmas presents. They're taken with them. Small kids are usually quite taken with their Christmas presents. Ella, I don't mind to be held here for long. I'm always sad when the lesson ends. Oh, bless you. That's very sweet. Okay. So, Mohammed Ibrahim, I think that's... you've said, I am taken with you, figuratively. Very good. Just make sure you put a full stop at the end. Anna, I was taken with you You haven't finished the sentence, but make sure you do a capital I. I with a capital I. Okay. All right, let's move on. So, to be taken with, we understand that one. Now, the next one is to be up. Now, be up can be used in 3 different ways. So, the first way, to be up means you are out of bed. So I would ask in the morning, is he up yet? Is he up yet? And you might say, yes, he is up. I might say, were you up in time? Were you up in time this morning when the delivery arrived? And you can say, no, I was very bad. I was not up on time. And I missed the delivery because I was still in bed. So to be up is to be out of bed. I am up. Are you? The next version is to say that something has increased or that something has risen. So usually you would be talking about numbers or figures. So I might say my numbers, my subscriber count, my view count, my watch time on YouTube, my numbers on YouTube are up by 10% since last year. My numbers on YouTube are up by 10% since last year. And then the third way that you could use to be up is to have expired. If something has expired, you could say it is up. So normally this is used with time. So you'd normally say your time is up. It means your time's expired. Your time is up. You could even use it when you're saying like days. His days are up. That means his days have expired. His days are up. And so let's have a look at some example sentences for those. So to say you're up and out of bed, I need to talk to your father. Is he up yet? Is he up yet? To talk about is up when we're talking about numbers and things have increased. My numbers on YouTube are up by 10% since last year. And then to talk about is up as in it's expired, I might say, I'm afraid your time is up. Please go home. Your time has expired. Please go home. I've just caught one comment on Facebook which says, when will your lesson up? What you should say is, when will your lesson be up? When will your lesson be up? My lesson will be up in probably, well, we're on number 77, so maybe another 15-20 minutes. Okay, so I'd like you to give it a go using up, to be up. Anna, your time is up, and that's why you can't answer all messages. Very good sentence. The inflation is up by 2% in this new year. You probably say, you don't say the inflation, you just say inflation. So you could say inflation is up by 2%, and then you would just say this year. So this is for Arthur, you've written this sentence. Inflation is up by 2% this year. And that's the sentence in entirety, that would work. Okay, let's have a look on my patrons Skype room. Wayne Rooney seems to be greatly taken with that pretty girl. Very good. Bitcoin rates are up right now. Yes, Bitcoin rates are up right now. That works. Well done. Good. Okay, let's move on to the YouTube chat room. If I say time's up, yes, it means I'm finished. Goodness me, Ramit, your generosity knows no bounds. Ramit has just donated another super chat and says, how's weather like in London? I really need to improve pronunciation skills and I dream to have British accent. So let me just correct your sentence for you. As you're being so kind to donate, let me help you. So let me just write down your sentence and correct what you've written. This benefits everyone. So this is what Ramit has written. How's weather like in London? So what you would do is you would take away the like and you'd say, how's the weather? How's the weather in London? And that works perfectly as a question. How's the weather in London? I really need to improve pronunciation skills. I would say my pronunciation skills because it's your skills we're talking about, nobody else's. I really need to improve my pronunciation skills, and I dream about, rather than dream to, I dream about having a British accent. How's the weather in London? I really need to improve my pronunciation skills and I dream about having a British accent. Well, in answer to your question, the weather in London is pretty miserable at the moment. It's quite typical for this time of year. It's very wet and cold. I know in the north they're due to have some more snow. Up in Scotland, they've definitely got snow warnings. So it's going to get cold again. It's a little bit windy and it's generally quite grey, which is not very good for filming, so it makes me quite sad. And it goes dark early, so like now it's not 5 o'clock yet, and it's already quite dark. And the sun doesn't come up until about 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's quite depressing. But yes, stick with me. And do use lots of other resources online to improve your pronunciation skills. If you're not already following me on British English Pro, which is on Instagram, so my account on Instagram is British English Pro, I'm doing daily, or I try to do daily, pronunciation videos to just help you a sentence a day to improve your British English pronunciation. Okay, so where were we up to? We were up to we were doing number 77, weren't we? To be up out of bed, prices are up and time is up. Your time is expired. Let's move on. So, to be up for. If you're up for something, this means you're keen to take part. I'm up for it. You could just use it like that. Yeah, I'm up for it. It means I'm keen to do whatever it is. I'm up for it. So I could say to you guys, I'm doing a lesson next Monday. I want you to join me. Are you up for it? I mean, are you interested? Are you keen? And you could say, yeah, Anna, I'm up for it. I want to learn English. I'm up for joining you in your live lesson. So I'd be like, amazing. My students are up for it. So let's make sure I do a good lesson and I'm there on time. Okay, so I want you to try and write a sentence using to be up for something. to give you an idea, the example sentence I've written is bungee jumping, ? Sure, I'm up for that if you are. Bungee jumping. Sure, I'm up for that if you are. And if you don't know, bungee jumping is usually done from a bridge or from a very high tower or something. You go to a very high point, you tie a bungee, which is like a stretchy rope, around your middle or your legs, and you jump off. And then you bounce up and down until eventually you stop and then they let you down. And that's a bungee jump. In fact, I've never done a bungee jump. I've done many things, but I've never done a bungee jump. Has anybody else done a bungee jump? I'm sure someone here must have done. Okay, so are you up for it? I want you to write me a sentence. So I've got here on the YouTube chat room, I'm up for sleep. I'm up for sleep. Yes, I will be up for sleep soon, although I have gymnastics training tonight, so I'll be quite tired after that, and I will be up for sleep after that. I am up for your live lessons, said Gozia. Very good. When I saw your news about this live video on Instagram, I said to my roommate, are you up for this lesson? Very good, Reza, very good. So many coming through. I can't read them all. I'm up for playing football when it's -5 outside, trying to break the mold, says Paluxio. Well done. Good. You were here at the beginning of the lesson. Very, very good. Okay. And then I've got Patricia has said, he's up to no good. I'll come back to this one in a minute. But then you've said, I'm up for travelling. I'm keen to travel. Very good. Well done. Ella, the orange juice smells weird. Perhaps it is up. I would say perhaps, so orange juice, make sure you put a space between orange juice, 2 separate words. The orange juice smells weird. Perhaps its time is up. I think just saying it's up for orange juice is a little bit unusual. It's uncommon. So what we'd normally say is it's off. When food has gone bad, when food has rotten, we normally say it's gone off. So that would be the common phrasal verb to use for orange juice. It's gone off. It's gone off. But if you want to use up, then I would say its time is up. Its time is up. But it would be less common to do that. Okay, so let's have a look at what you're saying on YouTube. Are you up for Mancunian accent talking, says Conard. Are you up for Mancunian accent talking? Not right now, but I've got accent videos here, so if you want to dabble in some accent work, then there are accent videos available for you on this channel. Okay, I'm up for the gym, said Rashad. Good. Nice bit of exercise. Make sure you put a full stop at the end of your sentence. Okay, so let's carry on. To be up to. Now this is one I've seen a few of you writing sentences. If you are up to something, it's basically, well, it can have 2 meanings. It can mean that you're good enough for something. So I'm up to it. I'm up to the job. I'm up to it. I am up to it. I can do it. And it normally, if you're ill or you're not very fit and an opportunity comes along which requires you to be healthy or requires you to be fit, let's say a marathon. Let's say you want to run a marathon, but you've had an injury, a very serious injury, and you're still recovering. I might say to you, are you up for it? Are you up to it? I know you're up for it because that means you're keen. I know you're up for it, but are you up to it? So it's a slight difference and it can be easily confused. To be up to it, I'm asking, are you good enough in terms of your physical fitness? Are you able to do it? Are you up to it? If I'm very poorly one day, I might write you all a message and say, guys, I know I was supposed to do a lesson today, but I'm not up to it today. I'm not up to it. I'm not good enough today. My physical health, my state, I'm not up to it. Okay? And then to be up to can also mean that you're doing something. What are you up to? What are you doing? And sometimes it's used when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. If you're doing something naughty or you're doing something wrong, what are you up to? So let's have a look at the example sentences so you can try and write yours. So, using to be up to something to mean you're good enough, I've written, why on earth did we appoint Mr. Jones? And where I've used appoint, we're assuming this means I've given someone an important job. I've appointed a manager. I've appointed a new prime minister. I've appointed a new Duke of Edinburgh. If someone's been appointed somewhere, they have been placed in a position. They've been given a role and responsibilities. They have been appointed. The headmaster was appointed last week. So, why on earth did we appoint Mr. Jones? ? It's obvious that he's not up to it. It's obvious that he's not up to it. Perhaps he's very old. Perhaps he's very ill. Or perhaps he's just not very good at his job. Maybe he's never done this type of job before. So why on earth did we appoint Mr. Jones? It's obvious that he's not up to it. Okay? And then the other example that I gave you, or I can give you, is what are you up to? Meaning, what are you doing? Because I suspect you're doing something unusual. What are you up to? Normally, if you're a mother or a father or a grandparent and you can hear the children doing something strange, you're like, hey, what are you up to? What's going on? Something naughty's going on here. What's happening? Have you broken something? Are you snaffling something? My mother always used to say that to me. What are you snaffling? That means to take something. It's slang though, so don't use that. So, what are you up to? You can just use it generally to ask someone what they're doing. Hey, what are you up to? It doesn't always mean they're doing something naughty. It just depends on the context and how you say it, what type of tone you use when you speak. Okay, so let's have a look at your examples. Let's have a look over here. Alexander says, I'm up to type without looking at the keyboard. So this needs to be continuous. I'm up to typing. I'm up to typing without looking at the keyboard. So make sure you use ing on type. I'd better go into the children's room and see what they're up to. That one's very good. Well done. The patient is now up to seeing visitors. Very good. The patient is up to it. Good. When I lived in New Zealand, I saw many people bungee jumping, but I was never up for it, even though I had lots of opportunities to do it. Perfect, Patricia. Well done. Good. Okay, let's jump back into the YouTube chat room. Amanda said it's very quiet in the children's room. I think they're up to something. Perfect, Amanda. Well done. Are you up to inscribe in the wrestling tournament in Manchester Arena? Inscribe. That's a strange word. I'm not even sure that to inscribe. I'm not sure about the word. To sign up for. Are you up to signing up for the wrestling tournament in at Manchester Arena? Is what you'd probably say. Oh no, Hendrik's browser doesn't support live stream. Oh, Hendrik. Today I'm not up to exercise well in the gym. You don't need to use well. I'm not up to exercising in the gym is what you'd say. Okay. Okay, so let's carry on. We're on the last one now. So thank you for sticking with me for this long. So the very last one is to bear down on. To bear down on. Now, to bear down on someone or something is to move very quickly towards it in a threatening way. To bear down on something is to come in quickly and to make them feel threatened. Okay? And so the example sentence I've given for this one is, she stepped out And that should be into. Sorry, I wrote this in a hurry. She stepped out into the crowd and the cameras immediately bore down on her. Bore, because I'm talking in the past. She stepped out into the crowd and the cameras immediately bore down on her. So I might say to you, you have to be careful when you step out into the crowd because the cameras will bear down on you. Because I'm talking in the past, I said the cameras immediately bore down on her. So I'd like you to give that a shot. If something moves towards you quickly in a threatening way, bear down on. Let's see what you come up with. Okay, and while I'm waiting for your example sentences to come through for me to correct, let me just repeat that if you are here for the first time on YouTube, then please do make sure you press subscribe and the bell notification button so you don't miss any future lessons. There are over 300 lessons already here for you to enjoy. I've covered many things. Lots of you have been asking me for pronunciation lessons. I've already covered a majority of pronunciation issues. I've covered TH quite a lot. I've covered D's, T's, P's, B's. I've covered S's and R's and L's, dark L's. I've covered all sorts of verbs and I've covered all the slang. I've covered A to Z, every single common slang term used in the English language. I've covered lots of idioms. So there's plenty on here for you to help you. I've also done lots of speaking practice where you have a conversation with me and you can practice answering questions while I listen to you. I've done a job interview video for that as well. And there's lots of videos here that give you tips on how to effectively learn English. So do take some time to look through the video tab and make sure that you've got everything you need. And if there aren't the videos there that you are looking for, then just message me and ask me and I will add it to the list and make it as soon as I can. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, then do come over. It's free and there's lots of other English teachers doing some great work there too. My Instagram handle is British English Pro, so come and join me there and improve your pronunciation with daily videos. I'm also on Facebook, so you can find me there. All the links are in the description box below on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at some example sentences then, and then I will let you lovely people go and have your dinner. I could see an angry shopman bearing down on me from across the room. Very good. I like that one. Well done. Okay, what have I got on YouTube? You guys are saying... my kids were very hungry and they bear down on me to give them something to eat. My kids, because you're saying were, you're talking about the past. My kids were very hungry. So if you're talking in the past, then you need to change bear to bore. My kids were very hungry and they bore down on me to give them something to eat. Okay, very good. The ship bore down on our canoe. That's very good. Massimo, very good. Just make sure you use a full stop at the end. Alexander, excuse me, I've got a very tickly throat. I was borne down by a crow which was flying up in the sky. I was borne down. That doesn't quite work because you're saying to be born. You were saying I was born. I was borne down. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You could say the crow bore down on me as it was flying through the air. The crow bore down on me as it was flying through the air. That would work. Patricia, Anna, could you talk about liking words one day? This is a topic that would benefit a lot of people. Sure, I'll add it to the list. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, and I'll do one more. Mohammed says, bore me to death. Normally, if you're going to make a sentence like that, you should say, what bores you to death? You could say, this lesson bores me to death. The exam bored me to death. I'm sure she will bore me to death as she speaks forever. But that's not quite the phrasal verb that we've been working with. But anyway, that phrase still works. All right, my darlings, thank you so much for joining me. I want to say a huge thank you to Ramit for those 3 very generous donations to this channel. That money will be going into making this channel better. So thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you, as always, to my wonderful patrons, past and present. I know on the Patreon website, things have been a little quiet, but as I said in the message today, there are some good things coming for patrons. Once the patron numbers are up, I'm going to start doing private live lessons for patrons only. And also I'm trying to arrange at the moment a special Dropbox where I can share with all patrons of a certain level everything, and then depending on your level I'll share different things with you, but you can go to one place and get all the notes from the previous lessons, which will make it much easier for you to grab resources that help you with your English. Okay, so patrons, I love you dearly. Your support is invaluable to this channel, and I am thinking of ways to try and reward you as much as I can every month, so bear with me. And all of you on YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to stop boring you now. So thank you. Have a lovely evening. I'll say goodbye to YouTube first. Lots of love. I'll stay on and chat for a little while, but I'll just cut the video. So love from London.